All right, what's up, guys? It's Rock and Roll. Actually, Roll's just coming in, still piped up a little bit from the last dance. Whew.
Yeah, guys. So we just finished seeing The Last Dance. We've actually still got the after show interviews playing on here. Watching it while we're doing this as well. But we just want to talk a little bit about what we thought about these past two episodes, episodes 5 and 6. Okay, anything before we get started?
I'm just pumped up, man. Like these two episodes really showed the kind of backline story of Michael Jordan's career, kind of his last few years before he retired into baseball, and it's pretty exciting. And I know you're the basketball fanatic, but me, like, I didn't really know too much about Michael Jordan. Just know he's the greatest, and go ahead and just tell people what you thought about him,
That
man.
third,
'Cause I think
that
it's
third championship, man. Okay, so let's go and get started. Let's see. So one of the first things I want to talk about was the comparisons between Clyde and Jordan. Uh, we didn't live through all this stuff, but we've heard from the legends and everything like that. And one of the things that I knew, it's kind of hard to document this stuff because it's been documented so many times. So there's a lot of stuff that we've already known. Clyde versus Jordan is one of those things. I knew about that they were always being compared, especially during that same championship. But just seeing, the way that this documentary kind of displayed that, it was where Jordan basically said, hey, you know what? This guy, they're putting him in the discussion with me, and he didn't like that
gotta
whatsoever.
go out.
Yeah, so he was able to take care of business pretty efficiently. And, of course, when you talk about Jordan in this time and era, LeBron is going to come up and the comparisons between the two. And we'll get more into that stuff later on. But one of the things I do want to talk about is how LeBron now, I think one of the players that he got compared to a lot was Kevin Durant. And it just speaks volumes that LeBron was able to defeat Kevin Durant once, but then Kevin Durant came back and just obliterated LeBron. Now the argument could be that hey, well Kevin had Curry at that time, so then it's like okay, well now you have Curry. This guy was being talked as the best over LeBron, and LeBron was just never able to shut him up. Of course, the infamous, the one that he did win, but the finals record, all that stuff. So it's just amazing to me how this documentary displayed how Jordan was able to just clear that out of the water right away. You're comparing this guy and me? I don't think so. And he just took care of business in the most Jordan-esque fashion that he possibly could.
Yeah, and I was thinking a little bit about that too. Like Jordan had a lot of competitors, but he was always really the best, right? Now LeBron, he has a lot of competitors, and it's kind of 50-50 with them, He's the best some years, but then other players are the best, undoubtedly. But
Yeah,
Jordan was always on
yeah,
top.
always.
Yeah.
Okay, so next thing I got right here, I'm not going to talk too much about the Olympics because, like I said, that's one thing that's been documented time over time. Everybody knows about the Dream Team, countless documentaries, so we're not going to touch upon that too much. We're focusing on the bread and butter of this documentary. One of the interesting things that my brother and I were kind of like, oh man, was that when they won, and I didn't know this, was that Jordan covered the Reebok logo on his windbreaker. He had that pride in Jordan, like some people I know. Of course, he's gonna have the pride, but for him to cover it up, you have to think about this. We definitely, this kind of made our gut turn a little bit because with Courtwear, we would have to pay millions of dollars to get our logo on those things for the Olympics. And of course, everybody's gonna want to see Jordan and they're gonna want to see what he's got on. And for him to cover it, that's just like a big slap in the face. It's like, wow, we paid millions of dollars to get it on this specific person and the team as well. And then for him to cover it, you know, that's just a horrible, horrible feeling for any company. So, for Jordan to do that, it was something that my brother and I were
Yeah.
just like, it took us a step back, definitely.
And we weren't around at that time, but I don't know if they knew, he's covering it with the flag. They might have just saw it as nothing, but now, they admit it here, and yeah, we'd be pretty ticked off about that, and that's something that we would work hard for for that to happen is pretty rough, man.
Yeah. Another thing, one of the things that I was surprised about because I know right away if I were a professional athlete, I want to use my platform. And I think LeBron's doing a great job of that. You know, and one of the things, one of the small critiques that I have about Jordan is even though he's the greatest, basketball players, no discussion. As far as an athlete, and using his platform and this and that, in the episode, talked about how he didn't want to do a commercial with the senator, whatever he was going for, the Democrats. It was real shocking to me that he didn't want to show his face into that. He said that he wasn't an activist. And to me, it's like, man, you have that platform. Everybody looks at you. You want to use that power to send a message, and who knows? Maybe it would have ended the same. But the most popular guy in the world going right behind you, I got your back. That guy could have ended up winning the election, all that stuff. So very, very shocking to me that Jordan didn't want to be an activist. That's one thing that we talk a lot about. I'm a coach, so I talk a lot about my players too. If you ever have the chance, a higher platform, use what you know to help others and help them open their eyes.
I mean, that's what we want to do with CORTWEAR, right? We want
Yeah.
to, we want to do it for the respectability so we can be an idol, a name, a purpose for another, for other things. And for him to have that much power and not use it in a good way to his own culture is pretty shocking.
Yeah, yeah. But you know how MJ is. He was a baller, and
That's it.
he was good to do his work on the court. So let's see. Um, one of the big things. So obviously, being the most popular guy on the planet, which they refer to him as several times in the documentary, it talks about how he was always being suffocated and stuff by the media, which I get, right? But this documentary really opened our eyes, and it was like, wow, like he was really suffocated all the time. Like it said, from him having means with disability children and stuff like that right before the game, then 100% during the game, then shower, everything, dress up. Boom, as soon as he opens the door, he's got cameras and recorders everywhere. Gets to the hotel, got all that stuff. And it really, really, that's a really suffocating thing, a really tough thing to experience. And just the scene where it shows him in his hotel room all alone with the media, the camera crew, it really, in a way, it kind of showed like a sad Michael. Like he was sad to go out there where people praised him, ironically, but he just wanted to get away from it. And that's one big thing that us as normal people, we say we would love to be famous, love to be athletes, but seeing that really opens your eyes to just how much they had to endure, especially Michael Jordan.
Yeah, it's funny because it kind of made me think of this whole quarantine thing also because he's out there and he doesn't want to be out there. So literally, when it's showing that scene, he says, "This is what my day is like. I lay on my couch and watch TV all day in the hotel room." And I'm just thinking like, man, that you got to be miserable doing that. And he said one time during that scene that the time comes sometimes where you're just tired of it and you don't want to do it anymore. And he said that it was the time. And
Yep.
uh, he said he doesn't want to be pulled off the court. He wants to walk away, and he loves the game, but he didn't really like the lifestyle of being
Yeah.
a huge celebrity. And
Yeah.
like my brother said, everybody wants the fame, but with that comes responsibility, and it's a burn. You see all these celebrities and whatnot, and they become bankrupt, and some of them commit suicide, and they can't take all the pressure from the paparazzi, and it's tough, guys. So appreciate what you have and make sure you use your name for a higher purpose.
Yeah, yeah. It was really disheartening to see how the media nitpicked everything about Jordan and basically broke him down one brick at a time. Um, it makes me excited for the next episode. But the last thing I want to talk about was, Jordan and the whole gambling situation, all that stuff. I'll be honest, like I said, didn't grow through it. I just heard all the stuff, and one of the things I heard was, hey, Jordan has a gambling problem. Jordan has a gambling problem, this and that. He had demons off the court, and I totally believed that. And we still don't know, but the documentary, the interviews, I had never seen those interviews with Jordan where he says like, "Hey, I don't have a problem," and he makes good points. Like, if I had a gambling problem, I'd be gambling my rings, my house, this and that. And he didn't do that whatsoever. It just so happened that he had a lot of money,
Yeah.
so he was able to bet that money. But I don't think he ever went further than that. Now, I do know about the whole conspiracy theory about his father's death. Maybe that'll come up in the episodes, or maybe he won't even talk about that. Who knows? But I think we'll learn more about the gambling situation once that stuff comes up as well. But that's one of the things that I learned and said, you know what? I don't think that way as much as I did before the documentary.
Yeah.
Yeah. So just one last thing. I know when we discussed the suffocating and all that stuff, that he was suffocated by the meat. It's funny because there's a similar situation now with youth sports where you know kids are just suffocated by parents and stuff because those parents want them to be the best, but they take the fun out of it and stuff like that. So it's a really suffocating thing. It's definitely not the same, but it's definitely relatable. A student athlete in the youth sports can definitely feel some type of suffocation from not media. I would hope not. That'd be crazy, but definitely
Some
from
do.
yeah, definitely from parents and stuff like that.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
something that we can go on and on and on
yeah,
about, but we'll leave that for another episode, all right, guys? But thanks for tuning in for our first official episode, our first official vlog. And you want to exit, bro? Anything you
yeah.
got to
Sure.
say?
We try and keep them short, 11 minutes, 12 minutes. It's good enough, but you
I
know,
promise the more experience we get, the shorter they'll get too.
yeah. Maybe the lighting will be a little better too.
Yeah.
But thanks guys. Like I said, we're just talking, saying our opinions. Please, if you have anything you want to say, go ahead, share it in the comments. We'll discuss it furthermore. But as for this video, we're done. Like I said, it's a YouTube channel that we have, so go ahead and like, share, subscribe, do all your stuff. Courtwear signing out, and transcend above.
Thanks, guys.